is Datila, and welcome to TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show. As always, I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts. First, to my right, he's the third rascal, and he's the star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin.
How you guys doing? And just remember, this right here is the new world order of podcasting. Us three. So just remember that.
And to my left, not only is he the godfather of the power rankings, he's the DNA of LL Triane. He puts the Lucha and Luchasaurus, the Lucha and Lucha brothers, the one and only Lucha.
Okay, no Lucha house party. I'm happy.
He really should get like a residual check anytime a wrestler uses the word lucha in part of their name. He should be getting checks for that.
I agree.
Well,
All right, so we had quite the interesting show this past week. You know, we continue to feel the fallout from Slammiversary. So I'm very curious to see who made the power rankings. If I take a guess, I'd say Jake Something would be on here because he had an incredible match against Kevin Knight. Very impressive by both. I definitely would like to see them run it back. But Bert, who do you think made the power rankings this week?
Well, just to bet real quick what you said, would you say that he has that something?
He certainly has something.
For me, as I was watching the show, it hit me. We're seeing a resurgence of tag team wrestling on Impact. So I wouldn't be surprised to see all three of the top tag teams on the countdown on the power rankings at some position. And I mean Subculture, I mean ABC, and I mean the Rascals. Just because I think that they're...
I agree with you. What about you, Lucha?
Yeah, I was kind of on the same time as far as Subculture goes, but I was just curious to see how high they got. And not only that, I'm working on a little. I'm just doing an experiment with this, and I just want to see how their reign goes on the countdown versus ABC's did, because the committee wasn't too nice to ABC a lot of weeks.
No, they weren't. They honestly weren't. So I'm very curious to see that too.
And I love seeing the Rascals high. You know,
smoke them if you got them.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's get ready to play these power rankings.
It's ranking time?
Number 10, Josh Alexander. Number 9, number 1 contender Kushida. Number 8, tag team champions MK Ultra. Number 7, the Rascals. Number 6, Jake Something. Number 5, X Division champion Leo Rush. Number 4, ABC. Number 3, world champion Trinity. Number 2, tag team champion Subculture. Number 1, Motor City Machine Guns.
I like the controversy. Yeah, we back on top.
All right. Wow. I do agree. There's some controversial stuff on here. So let's kick things off with numbers 9 and 10. 9 being number 1 contender Kushida and 10 being Josh Alexander. It's very interesting because, in case you guys didn't know, these two actually tied. They both had 16 points, but I put Kushida over Josh for the simple fact that Kushida is the current number 1 contender for the X Division title. And Josh Alexander, yes, he's returned and he's on this week's episode, but we need to see him wrestle. Bert, do you agree or disagree with me?
I don't want to sound like I don't like Josh Alexander. I'm kind of sick and tired of the narrative. Somebody coming back, the title I didn't lose. Imagine if somebody said that in like the NBA or like, you know what I mean? Injuries happen. So for him to be like thrust into the world title picture again, it doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. I'm sorry. Injuries happen, and that doesn't mean that when you come back, you get to be thrusted right in. You know what I mean? You should have to work your way back to the top. In every other sport, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? If like Like I said, if somebody lost in the if somebody lost in the championship game in the NBA, they wouldn't get to come back next year and be like, well, I was right there, so put me right back in the title game again. You know what I mean? So I personally would rather see Kenny King at number 10, just because he is a champion. He is wrestling. You know what I mean? But that's just me. And opposed to number 9, it's Kushida. You said, right? I really like the ending segment where Kushida basically telling Leo Rush not so fast. Leo Rush was kind of hinting at an option C. He flat out said it. But we're gonna get Kushida versus Leo Rush, and that is an instant banger for me. So again, I don't hate Josh Alexander, but I would like to see someone new in there, just because, I'd rather see him work. That's just me.
And before you go, Lucha, speaking of Kenny King, he got 15 points. So he was just 1 point away from tying both Josh and Kushida. All he needed was 2 points to surpass them. He needed 1 point to tie and 2 to surpass them. So unfortunately, Kenny King just missed it by a little bit.
So technically, actually, he was number 10 because there was a tie at 9, right?
Yeah.
So he got robbed. Kenny King got robbed. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Kenny King got robbed. Justice for Kenny King.
Always justice for the DMC. But as far as Josh being 10 and Kushida 9, it makes sense for Kushida to be over Josh simply for the simple fact that Kushida's been wrestling. Like, Josh came back. The committee basically gave him, like, I don't want to call them pity points, but it's like, yay, welcome back. Like, we're glad you're back. So we're going to, thrust you into the top 10 on the power rankings. But you're running the risk of doing what we just did and costing Kenny King the spot that he honestly rightfully deserves, which was 10 on the countdown. So it's just the controversy. It's there. Like, I'm not against Josh being a number 10 because, he's back. But Burt, to answer your little thing about basketball, I can flip it back to you. In basketball, say the Lakers won a championship one year, and then they're about to repeat. They make it to the finals again next year, but Boston beats them. The Lakers don't get to come back and be like, hey, we lost the title, so I should get another shot at the title because I lost the title. But that's the universe we live in wrestling. We do that. People lose the strap, and they be like, well, my contract says I get another shot at my strap that I just lost, so you better give it to me.
I just will also kind of say that I'm not a big fan of the automatic rematch clause either. You know what I mean? Like, because, I hate running it back so close. I think when you lose or it's an injury, you need to go back to the beginning. You know what I mean? That's just me. I don't think you lose, you get a rematch. And, I think injuries, freak shit happens. But again, I don't think his place should save just because, he never lost it. Other people have been putting in work and not getting hurt. So,
hey, my man, it's in the contract.
Yeah, well, I think there's a little Team Canada bias. So I think the Canadians have become de facto heels now.
I'm from North Carolina, sir.
Oh no, I'm not talking about you. Well, to go back to Josh and Kushida, Eric Bischoff always says controversy creates cash.
And he certainly knows how to run a great promotion.
Not only that, but if you want to add more controversy, like we talked about last time, and the point that Lucha brought up, is that Kushida hangs with more City Machine Guns. You got Time Machine. So really, you can group them together, and you could have made Josh number 9, and then Kenny King number 10.
Kenny King gets screwed.
It's almost like he got stripped of that number 10 spot.
Alrighty. How about we talk about the Rascals at number 7 and former tag team champions ABC at number 4, and number 2 tag team champions are Subculture. So what do you think And we'll throw in number 8 there because, okay. So why do you think ABC is at number 4 over the Rascals, but they're right under Subculture? Like, Subculture came in at number 2. And what did Subculture do that, well, MK Ultra didn't, that they're higher ranked than MK?
Simple. They defended the belts. I'm honestly surprised that Subculture wasn't number 1. I was like, before the reveal, I just knew that Subculture was going to be number 1 and the Machine Guns were going to get disrespected. But Palm comes out on top, so everything's fine. ABC being where they are, Rascals have just been being Rascals, and almost just like Josh, they're kind of getting those, oh, yeah, you're back. Like, has the Rascals, Burt, your crew hasn't really, done too much work as a crew. They've just been, rascaling around in the back. So they're just getting, I'm honestly surprised MK Ultra is not higher than the Rascals, because it's MK. MK Ultra has that heart, they have our heart and wins and the straps. So it's a little messy. I do like how this top 10 is very top 10 heavy, though. But tag team.
Yeah, really, right? Almost the majority of the top 10 is tag team.
Well, it's funny that I'm pretty sure this is the most love ABC's gotten, and they're not champions anymore. And to me, I look at it as what I said in the beginning of the show. The tag team has, since there's so many good teams, the teams that Subculture are beating, it makes the tag division stronger. So you could arguably put these teams who aren't champions and haven't wrestled in the Rascals high, because, like I just said, they're great, and like any one of them could be champions. You know what I mean? This isn't like when the Good Brothers were just champions and they were beating scrubs every week or not even wrestling against people. You know what I mean? That's why they weren't making the top 10. So, like I said, and I think Subculture is not number 1 simply for the fact that you get more points when you're world champion than tag champions. As simple as that. You know what I mean? Like, I saw a lot of first place votes for Subculture. You know what I mean? But when you have that world title strap, you know what I mean, that carries a lot of cachet. And as far as MK Ultra, hey, wait a minute. Does the MK stand for Masha and Kelly?
I'm assuming that's what it stands for.
I'm always late to the party. You know what I mean? Like, remember, I just found out that Boston Knee Party is a takeoff Boston Tea Party, so I'm always late.
Yeah, Bert, at this point of the party, the cookies are gone, the punch is gone, half of
exactly.
There's nothing but crumbs left over.
Like, Rascals didn't wrestle. All they're doing is costing ABC title matches, but again, they're adding an element to the tag team division has become must see. And MK Ultra being on the list this week, it's as soon as I think that they're way more of a fresh team than the Coven, but I think for them to continue to be on the top 10, we need to bolster that division now. So yeah, and it's again, ABC being number 4, I don't remember them ever being this high when they were champions. I think maybe they were number 2 one time, and I think that was after a pay-per-view. But I just think the committee is finding their love again for tag team wrestling, which is a good thing to me since I'm a tag team wrestling fan. So I'm all for it.
I feel like they had a 1 at some point.
Yeah, I'd have to go check the archives, claw through the data. You know what I mean? But I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know. I don't keep track because I delete. But I guess I can dig through the rankings and see. Coming in at number 6, Jake Something, who had an incredible match against Kevin Knight. Honestly, I would not mind if they run that match back. That was an incredible match. Kevin Knight and Jake Something. Jake Something came back as a beast. Kevin Knight is a star.
You can't take your eyes off of him. I can't. Yeah, when he's on the screen, I can't take my eyes off of him. And as far as the Jake Something, he hit that off I think it was like a top rope power bomb that just looked. You know what I mean? I think he adds every company needs almost like a giant. Like a big guy. You know what I mean? I think Jake Something could be that next powerhouse in the division. So I really hope this run they do something with him, because I think he has world title. I think he has world title all written all over him. I think he could be a world champion.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Lucha? Like, what are your thoughts on Jake something coming in at number 6?
At least for the next 7 days, when anytime he asks what's my name and they say something, you also got to put number 6 on it. You got to put some respect on Jake. Give me Jake versus Josh Alexander.
Oh wow, that would be an awesome match.
And as far as him versus Kevin Knight, like Kevin Knight is also, a star in the making, depending on wherever that kid goes. Like he can be a star. I hope while he's in Impact, we at least get like a serious Kushida Kevin Knight tag team run. Give us some Kevin Knight and Kushida versus the Machine Guns type action. It would be crazy. But Future's in good hands with cats like Jake something coming in at number 6. He's one of those cats that could give you like a long power rankings run. You know what I'm saying? Maybe give Josh's streak a run for his money. I know the Machine Guns got to be crazy close to Josh's record too. I think we should also look into that as well. The domination of the Machine Guns.
Right. Just to one last comment on Jake something. I don't think we got to see Jake something versus Speedball and Mike Bailey. So I would definitely like to see Jake something versus Speedball, and I would also like to see Jake something versus Yayumura.
That'd be good too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so coming in at number 5, the X Division champion Lio Rush, who did not attack Alex Shelley in the last segment, but he made it be known that he could cash in option C on Alex Shelley. What are your thoughts on Lio Rush coming in at number 5?
I like it. I was a little worried when I heard option C, just because I'm not one to think that it devalues the X Division champ. I think it should be for special use. I don't think it should be like, I didn't like it when Kazarian just won the X Division title just to immediately use it. I personally would rather have somebody have a long X Division run and then use it. But the more I'm thinking about it, Chris, if Lio Rush can add that he beat Chris Sabin and then beat Alex Shelley, you beating both Machine Guns, I think that just makes you a legend in this company. So the more I'm trying to sell myself on it, if he does exercise it and he wins, I love the Machine Guns, but I wouldn't have a problem with it. I like Lio Rush a lot. I'm glad he's kind of seems like he's found a home at Impact. I think the company fits him perfectly. I think he fits the company perfectly. So I think we're going to see Lio Rush ascend even higher.
If he beats Alex Shelley, he'll definitely beat number 1.
The thing that's so dangerous about this entire top 10 in this entire company, at least at the moment, is just so much can change so fast. Leo can cash in option C on Alex Shelley. Also, like we established earlier, contractual rematches are a thing, and Chris Sabin is contractually obligated to a rematch for his X belt. So say Sabin gets it back, then you could also say Sabin can cash in option C on Alex Shelley. But whoa, Kushida has a guaranteed title match. So regardless of whatever happens, Kushida's like, I still got mine. So these are all world title worthy cats here. So it's making at least in this situation the X Division title kind of mean that much more, because everyone's intentions are known. They want the world title, and competition's getting real thick. And oh, by the way, the former world champ who only don't have the belt because he got hurt is still owed his rematch for the belt. So it's just so dangerous right now in the depths of trying to climb to the top of Impact Wrestling and these power rankings.
Quick question, you guys. Do you think if Josh Alexander hadn't gotten injured, do you think he would still be champion right now, or he would have lost at Slammiversary?
He'd still be champ right now. He'd also be heel as of right now, I feel like.
I don't think so, because I think that run was getting a little stale, and I think that you have to like it or not, the champion is a way to elevate people. And I thought Josh was at the point now where he didn't need the belt to be a star. And you know what I mean? Like, in order for Ric Flair to be a 16-time champion, he had to lose it 15 times. No one wants to just be a one-time champion. You know what I mean? You got to give other people the rub. And real quick, going back to Chris Sabin, if Impact enjoys pissing people off, which they don't do, there's no way that they would have Chris Sabin turn on Alex Shelley. I think that'd be the dumbest decision ever. We saw what it was like when Chris Sabin was heel. I thought it was terrible.
We don't necessarily need one to turn on the other. Like, it could just, you know how the machine guns get down. Like, they've had to fight so many times before under so many different circumstances for so many different belts, for so many different opportunities. So for them to have to fight because one cashed in the X belt for a shot at the world belt, like that, if that's not the most Motor City machine gun shit.
And real quick too, we're starting to have a lot of people, because if you're gonna say that, oh, never mind. So we have like 3 people. I was about to say that but Macklin already got his rematch, but it's like a lot of people who are owed a championship. I think they need to start like having someone go on a winning streak to earn a championship, with all these people who like are just going to get automatic rematches. That's a lot of people who are just like contractually obligated to get championships, and it's like no one fresh. We can't just keep having retreads. We got to build our next star.
Don't forget, Deanna's also has a rematch too.
Well, I'm fine with that. I'm a heel. I just don't like the automatic rematch clause. I don't like seeing the same match ran back. I'd rather them go to the beginning of the line again.
It's in the contract.
And wait a minute. If that's a for sure thing that Josh gets a rematch, when was that said?
When the contract was signed.
No. Well, I'm saying I've never heard them say that when Josh relinquished his belt, he was getting another title shot. When have they said that?
It's implied in every contract that's signed.
No, you're saying that every contract says that when someone gets hurt, they get a title shot again when they come back? I've never heard that before.
Kayfabe, anytime the champion loses their championship, they are contractually obligated a rematch.
But he had to relinquish it. He didn't lose it. He had to give it up. That's not the same thing.
Tomato, his reign ended that day.
Alrighty. Number 3, World Champion Trinity. So, what do you guys think of Trinity coming in at number 3? You think that's a good spot for her this week, or should she have been higher or lower?
She's the world champ, and she didn't fight this week. So I mean, that's perfect. It's a perfect spot for her to be. I mean, for the people to be over her is the world champ and part of the most dominant force in Power Rankings history. To be behind that and the tag team champions who successfully defended their belts and ABC's contractually obligated rematch. Oh, hell yeah.
Don't you mean shell yeah, because it's Shark Week?
And that's the fishing line, because Shark Boy says so. But no, it's a perfect spot for her to be, chilling. She is still the new world champ. She hasn't. It's still fresh for her being the world champion. So we don't really have too much more to go off of other than the fact that she's world champ. But once she starts getting active, she's got a match next in a couple days on Impact. So it's about time to get active and start earning this reign here. Granted, it's a tag match. But still,
this is tough because I think she's only number 3, because if you want to make the case that Alex Shelley didn't wrestle either, but he cut a very money promo. I really love that segment with him, Josh Kushida, and Leo Rush. I thought that was a very great segment. So I think that's why the Machine Guns are number 1. And then again, Subculture went out and defended their belts, so that's why they're number 2. I guess you could maybe say Subculture 1, Machine Guns 2, and Trinity 3, but that really, at the end of the day, she would still be number 3. So I think 3's completely fine. I think she'll be higher next week. So I think 3 is the perfect spot.
I can't argue with that. And it's to no one's surprise. Coming in at number 1, the Motor City Machine Guns still keep their number 1 spot. Despite the fact that Alex Shelley did not wrestle, despite the fact that Chris Sabin didn't wrestle, despite the fact that they got beat up at the end of the show, still coming in at number 1. What is it? Why do you think they keep retaining their number 1 spot, Bert? Is it just simply for the fact that Alex Shelley is the world champion and that's carrying both of them, or what?
Well, he is the world champion. The world champion is the top champion in the company. And again, like,
True.
he ended the show. It wasn't a match, but it was a marquee segment. So, and I think he cut an excellent promo. So I don't have a problem with him being number 1. I like it.
What about you, Lucha?
See, I look at the power rankings less from a week-to-week basis, but more as like a continuous strand. And for the reason why they always remain number 1 or they're in the top 2 is just simply because, yes, they are a tag team. They are a unit. They are still together. Yes, they do singles matches. They are still a unit. They have not broken up. They have not split up. They are still the Motor City Machine Guns. They still do tag matches. So the fact that we just went through a period where a tag team was the world champion and X Division champion at the same time, that's powerful shit. So of course they're still gonna be number 1, even though one half of the tag team lost their championship. They still have the world championship, and they still have the last several weeks or months worth of momentum blowing them miles ahead of the competition.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. No, I can't disagree with that. All right, and with that being said, that concluded the top 10. Anybody have any last comments or about the top 10 before we move on to the next segment?
Let me just say real quick. You said controversy creates cash. I don't hate Josh Alexander, but I'm trying to create some controversy to get more people to watch this show. I'm just trying to, get people. I'm trying to get hated, so people are like, man, I want to see Lucha. I want to see Lucha out debate this guy. You know what I mean? I gotta get some. I gotta create some buzz. You know what I mean for this show. So I just want to say that.
Bert's trying to get us those views.
Exactly. I'm just trying to say things and see if they stick to the wall.
Burt trying to go the Russo route. I'm just chilling, trying to go the Anthem route.
Okay, I like that.
I'm just hanging out.
Can you? Yeah, heel Canada 2.0. Now that Eric Young's back, he'll be the new coach, Coach Young. That sounds money to me.
No, yeah, I definitely does sound like money. All right, now to move on to the segment I like to call "Which Match Has the Biggest Implication in Power Rankings Next Week?" Bert, what are the matches?
We have a loser leaves Impact match with Zicky Dice versus Johnny Swinger. We have Masha Slamovich versus Giselle Shaw. We have Nick Aldis versus Eric Young. And then Trinity and Danny Luna versus the Coven.
I picked Johnny Swinger versus Ziggy Dice.
And that's the sad part. I know how sick and sadistic this committee is. And if Johnny Swinger wins this match, Johnny Swinger is going to be number 1, and it is going to piss me off to no end.
Didn't somebody vote Johnny Swinger number 1 once?
We don't talk about that. Okay.
I think.
But with all that being said, I'm going to go with it being the Trinity match, her and Danny Luna versus the Coven, simply because she is the highest ranked of everybody else that's been announced on the card, A. And B, not only does she have to win the match to earn her spot or keep her spot or even advance her spot, she has to trust in someone else not failing her. Also, that someone else is a member of the group that's ranked ahead of Trinity, Subculture. So there could be a huge shift in that to where no matter how much love Trinity might get, you have to give the same, if not more, depending on the result of the match, to Subculture, because Danny Luna if she gets the win.
I was gonna say, so if Dani Luna gets the pin, do you foresee Subculture being higher than Trinity?
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm going to agree with Lucha, but I'm going to go a different way. Because no matter what, Trinity being the world champion should be top 5 every week. With her having a match, if she wins, if Trinity wins, I think she should be number 1 next week. But I could totally see a situation where you have someone like Taylor Wilde pin her to set up a match between Taylor and Trinity. Just because I know we're going to get Deonna versus Trinity again, but there's always ways to set up feuds, and Trinity losing in a tag match is a way for Taylor Wilde or even Kylan King to say, "I just pinned the champ. I need a title match. I deserve a title match." So, like I said, Trinity is going to be top 5 every week. With a win, she's number 1. With a loss,
Okay, so first for me, Lucha, I don't want to piss you off, but I could definitely see Johnny Singer making the power rankings if he wins. I don't know if he'll be number 1, but definitely he'll make it. At least I hope so. And in terms of Dani Luna and Trinity versus the Coven, for me, I think that definitely is going to be an interesting match, because you also have to look at it this way. Say Dani Luna gets the pin. Say Subculture has a match and wins. With all that momentum, I could definitely see them being higher than Trinity. You know? But what if Trinity gets the pin here? And what if a Subculture doesn't have a match? What happens then? You know? But on the other hand, I could also see how Burt said it too. You know, they could lose this match, and Taylor Wilde could have possibly.
And then also you gotta bring some light to MK Ultra, because under group rules, you know, she has a match against Giselle Shaw. She gets the win over Giselle Shaw. That's got to give them some sort of positive momentum in the power rankings next week.
Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and as always, for the continuous support. We would not be here without you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the views, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. You hit that bell so you get notified not only when this video drops, but whenever TNAIW releases video or new content, such as Lucha. What kind of content are we talking about here?
Well, specifically, we have tomorrow night TNA 2K Wednesdays, the semifinals and the finals of the TNAIW Athena Cup. And check this, here's the final 4. And what more fit, this is such a predictable final 4, but it's also, you know, it's going to be a good final 4. On one side, we got Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong in a semifinal match. On the other side, we got Taya Valkyrie versus Deonna Purrazzo.
So basically, similar to a college basketball Final Four with all the blue bloods. You got your North Carolinas, you got your Dukes, you got your Kansases, you got your UCLAs, you got your Kentucky. You know what I mean? So I like that.
Yep.
Who's who in this? Who's who? Who's the Kentucky?
Well, I just personally think that the winner of Awesome Kong and Gail Kim is going to win the whole thing. I just think that's your winner. So
I'd honestly say that Deonna is Kentucky, Duke is Gail Kim, Taya is UCLA, and that makes Kong Kansas.
Yeah.
Have you been losing that much sleep over the thought of Johnny Swinger being number 1? Is it that?
Yeah,
Is it
I
that?
have.
Having that much sleep? Okay.
Well, with that being said, you guys, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Oh.